Okay, today, lesson 8.2, we're going to be working with the volume of cones. The volume of a cone is 1/3 the product of the area of the base and the height of the cone. Remember that for a cone, the area of the base is a circle. So another way to write this is basically to take 1/3 of the volume of what we've been working with in the cylinders. So the volume would be equal to 1/3 pi r squared times height. Okay, the height of the cone is the perpendicular distance from the base to the vertex. So make sure that when you're looking for the dimensions that you'll need the radius of the circular base and you'll need the height of the cone, and we're looking at this perpendicular distance from the base to the vertex. So here's an example. We're going to find the answer and round it to the nearest tenth. Since the diameter is 4, we know that the radius is equal to 2 meters. When we do this, we will substitute in, and we would have 2 for the radius, so pi r squared times height. At this step right here, in the middle, right here, okay, we could, since we're going to have 4 times 6, all right, so we get, this will be, I'll bring this down actually, 1/3 pi and then times 24. So what they've done is they've already simplified 1/3 of 24 here, because 3 goes into itself once and goes into 24 8 times. So that's where this 8 pi comes from, in case you were wondering. You could just simply take 24 times pi and then divide by 3, but in this case they've simplified it down. Sometimes that makes the math a little bit easier to do. The other thing we're going to be using is the pi button on our calculator, so that it'll help better with the rounding as you're checking your answers or entering them online. So you would get about 25.1 cubic meters. Finding the height is similar to how we found the height in a cone, or I'm sorry, in a cylinder. You'll write the formula, we'll substitute in what we know. And again, right here at this step, when you take 9 squared, you're going to get, so let me go down here again. So 956 is equal to 1/3 pi times 81 times the height. When you take 81 and divide by 3, you get 27. So that's where they went ahead and simplified right here to get this 27 pi. And then again, remember, you're going to be dividing both sides by 27 pi, just like you did when you found the height of a cylinder. So you're dealing with dividing by 3 or multiplying by 1/3 before dividing. If you didn't do that, okay, so let's just imagine we got to this step when we came down. So we have 956 is equal to 1/3. I'll go ahead and square 81h. Another way to undo multiplying by 1/3 is to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/3 or multiply both sides by 3. So if we multiply by 3 on both sides, this 3 and this 3 cancels, okay? 3 times 956, we might be dealing with some bigger numbers, would be equal to, oops, I wrote the 8 before the 2. So 2,868 would be equal to, in this case, pi 81h. Now we're dividing both sides by the pi and the 81. Okay, how I would do this is I would literally hit divide by 81 and the equal sign, and then again hit divide by and hit the pi button to get the 11.3. So you'll get the same thing for your answer, is approximately, and it's in this case feet and that's approximately equal to your height. Again, because we're rounding and we're using pi, we always want to use the approximately button. So let's actually try this. So again, making sure we're using the right formula. It's always good to write it down. Volume is equal to 1/3, and then the area of the base is a circle, pi r squared times the height. So 1/3, and then 6 squared times 15. If we multiply, 6 squared is 36, 36 times 15 is 540. When you multiply 540 times the pi button and then divide by 3, you get approximately 565.5, rounding to the tenths, centimeters cubed. Okay? Finding the height, we're going to use the formula. Area of the base is a circle, okay? And we can work it, I can show you two different ways so that you can see which one kind of makes sense to you. We substitute in what we know, and we know that the volume is 7,200. Actually, I'm going to change colors so we don't get mixed up with what we've already done. We'll switch to blue. So the volume is 7,200, 1/3 pi. The radius squared is 15 squared h. So we will have 225. Now, if you want to check to see if 225 is divisible by 3, you can add the digits together. 2 plus 2 plus 5. Since 2 plus 2 plus 5 is equal to 9, we know that we can go ahead and simplify and divide by 3, and this might help. So it goes into itself once, and it goes into 225 75 times. So we have 7,200 is equal to, now we just have the pi, the 75, and the h. So we're going to divide both sides by pi 75. Okay. Oops. Sorry, it's overlapping a little bit. So when we do that, we're going to get that h is approximately equal to 30.6 yards, approximately equal to h. The other way to work it out is to take, let's switch colors again, the 7,200 is equal to this 1/3 pi. Now I'll go ahead and just do the 225h. If we multiply both sides by 3, right, the 3's here cancel, and we're going to multiply this by 3, we're going to get a pretty large factor. It's going to be 21,600, but this is equal to pi 225h. So notice we didn't simplify the 225 on this side. So now we'll divide both sides by the area of the circle. And I notice I've left pi out of it until the very end just to make my my computations a little easier and not having to write down a lot of decimals. Okay, so you can do this in any order. You can take your 21,600 and divide by the pi button, hit equal, and then divide by 225, right? You'll get approximately 30.6 yards. So you'll get the same answer. So I'm just showing you two different ways of having to deal with the third. Sometimes when our radius squared gives us an even number, dividing by 3 gives us that repeating decimal, and that makes it a little harder for the computations. So if you want to use the multiplication to get rid of the fraction, or you can use division. That's totally up to you.